Peace, peace, peace. This your brother Monroe Jr. I'm going to be offering my brief commentary right after this quick clip. Peace.
We understand that reducing crime begins with respecting law enforcement. For too many years, we have watched politicians escalate political attacks on our courageous police officers, and I've never seen it more than over the last few years. It's disgraceful. Politicians who spread this dangerous anti-police sentiment make life easier for criminals and more dangerous for law-abiding citizens. And I have directed the Attorney General's office to immediately go to the great city of Chicago to help straighten out the terrible shooting wave. Want to straighten it out fast. There's no reason for what's going on there. I've told them to work with local authorities to try to change the terrible deal the city of Chicago entered into with ACLU, which ties law enforcement's hands, and to strongly consider stop and frisk. It works, and it was meant for problems like Chicago. It was meant for it. Stop and frisk. And importantly, we are also making sure you have the equipment you need to do the job. That's why we are allowing local police to access surplus military equipment. And we've been doing this from the very first day of my administration, whereas others didn't want you to have that equipment for very strange reasons. They said it looked too tough, it looked too strong. It's not a good look. You have people shooting at you and they're worried about your look. Someday you'll explain that one to me, please. I don't quite get it. Last week, my administration also provided historic levels of funding to improve school safety. Through Stop School Violence grants, we are giving local schools and police departments the resources they need to hire more officers and train more teachers and better detect and address early warning signs of mental illness before it's too late. I've made a lot of strides in the last year. Heavy funding, but you've made a lot of strides.
Peace, peace, peace. This your brother Monroe Jr. So as you can see, Donald Trump is calling for stop and frisk again. And a lot of people are like, hey man, why don't he call for stop and frisk? So these white males that are killing all these white folks with opioids, and what about the mass shootouts and all of that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then Chicago murder rate is actually down right now in the city. But it's like, come on man, let's be serious. We all know stop and frisk, that's just a way for them to racially profile more, to get more young black and brown men incarcerated in their system. And it really doesn't help to rectify the situation, right? I can understand if he said, okay, let's pump some millions into the city to create resources in the inner cities, to bring jobs back into the inner cities, to get with programs that have, or institutions that have a successful track record in the black and brown community. That would be truly trying to help the black and brown community, but they truly don't desire that. And it's just like Trump, they want to talk about illegal activity. What about all that illegal activity him and his family did, misappropriating those tax funds, right? And I know you're gonna say, well, it's ways that people that you can get around that. But what Trump and his family did was misappropriating money to avoid paying taxes on gifts that were in excess of $10K. And if you have a general understanding of the amount of money you can legally carry or be gifted, $10K is the threshold before IRS will investigate you or law enforcement will suspect you of doing something illegal. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if he want to stop and frisk something, he need to stop and frisk all that illegal stuff him and his family is done. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the black community does need help. You know, we pay our taxes just like everybody else. We have fought, bled, and died for America. It was our ancestors that made this nation super wealthy. We worked for this country for hundreds of years and got nothing in return, but yet we give millions on top of millions of dollars of aid to Israel every year, but yet you gave black people nothing for their servitude. How do you all think the Creator is looking at America, right? So I'm gonna play a clip of the Honorable Minsiter Louis Farrakhan talking about the plot against the black community, the plot against black youth, especially in Chicago, and what they plan on doing to the black community, family. This your brother Monroe Jr. I'm signing out. Peace.
And what you don't realize is Chicago has been set up now to be the center of what you're just witnessing in Missouri. Now hear me, because I'm finished. So every day there's some killing. Senator Kirk, Senator Durbin. We're going to raise millions of dollars from Congress because we got to go to Chicago and we're going to arrest 18,000 gangster disciples. They already got the prisons and the concentration camps ready. Listen to me. The former police chief in Chicago that was an FBI officer, Jody Weiss, he and the black officers came to have lunch with me at the National House. And the black officers were talking to me about good community police relations. And it sounded real good, and certainly as a man that wants to see our people safe, I said, that sounds good. But then I said, this train is running on 2 tracks. But the other track you didn't say nothing about. Now I want to talk about that track. I said, Mr. Weiss, I read that you ordered 17,000 automatic rifles with hollow point bullets, armor piercing bullets for your police. Did I make a mistake? Did I read something incorrectly? No. I said, well, tell me, what are you expecting? That you would arm your police like that? And I said, you know, Superintendent or Chief, I said, I also read that most of the police departments in the major cities are being trained by Blackwater, which is a mercenary group that they use in Iraq, and they're training police. Did you hear me? Now all the police forces are being given weapons that are only used in military theaters of war. So when you see the police armed like they are, that's not to serve and protect. that is to kill. Now, I don't know whether you have that picture upstairs of the group that the military force that came against the people in Missouri. Could you show it? When I saw that come up, I looked in the faces of those police, and you could see the hate in their eyes. And one of them was standing there saying, "Bring it on." They have a desire to kill us wholesale. Now, Chicago is going to be the epicenter of what they're about to do. You know why? Because I'm here. Reverend Jackson is here. Black consciousness is here. They really want to kill Farrakhan. But I'm saying this to the government, you know, I'm not running from you. I'm here to die. But what will happen to you? See, I'm not no Rudy Poop fella that's just out here running his mouth. I'm backed by a power that can destroy you in the twinkling of an eye. Now, I read this morning that the FBI is planning to come into Chicago. Or they're already here. But they're increasing their numbers, working with the police, tactical forces, and they want to work in the hood with gangs. Well, what is it all about? See? Now look at the money that's being given to rappers to continue the drill kind of rap. This is the hardest core rap that there is. It's killing, 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 drugs, guns, hoes, disrespect of our women. And because they give you money and contracts that will allow you to put gold in your teeth and bling bling around your neck, and then you can come back in the hood riding expensive cars. But your brothers and sisters are dying on your words. And you are aiding in the conspiracy to exterminate the black male. Now I will tell you what I want you to do. You got to know that at the highest levels of government, they've plotted our demise. And to come into Chicago with heavy armament to make Chicago the example of slaughter. And perhaps during that time, you know, maybe go after arrest Farrakhan and the Muslims and shut this thing down. because we're the only man standing now. They've compromised everybody else. But I want to tell you, we're not going to run from this. Because if you plan the slaughter of black people in America, starting with a slaughter in Chicago, let me tell you what you can expect. Now, I see that you know that I've been telling you about this weather. And Allah answers real quick. But it's getting worse now, because you're getting worse in your plans. There's a movie out called Into the Storm. You ought to check it out. Because one of the things they said, well, one of these powerful tornadoes has not hit Chicago or LA. Well, let me tell you, baby, it's on the way. And if you, my brothers, don't change, don't stop the killing of each other, then the wrath of God will descend, and blood will be seen in the gutters of Chicago. But it'll be your blood, our blood, but then God will answer swiftly. You are the people of God, but you're acting like agents of the devil. And that has to stop. Now, in our audience today of BDs and GDs and Stones and four-corner hustlers and vice lords, all of that is here. And I thank you for coming. Wait, and I said to our staff yesterday, this is the greatest audience that I will have ever spoken to, because it is these young people that are the hope, but they're in the crosshairs of destruction.